Greetings, Elder Blacklight. As we go through this video, I want you to remember this. Don't nothing happen without the permission of Almighty God, Allah. All these sins of Satan is happening in the United States of America. And we being the children of Israel are acting other than self. Going along with all the sinful behavior. Not checking. Scared to check. The one in charge, the Caucasian of these United States, ultimately around the world, he's orchestrating, killing, stealing. So think about that.
Breaking news tonight, the deadly ice storm causing a travel nightmare. The winter blast creating dangerous conditions on the roads. Storm continues to paralyze parts of the South, with hundreds of thousands still without power. Morgan Chesky is in Dallas. And Morgan, what are you seeing there?
Yeah, Lester, day 3 of this deep freeze, and sleet has turned to rain, but it will likely only freeze again in just a few hours. And unfortunately, this storm has proven to be deadlier. 8 people confirmed killed, 7 in Texas, another in Arkansas. But especially devastating has been this accumulation of ice that leaves 350,000 Texans in the dark. Austin hit especially hard. 1 in 4 customers there without electricity. DFW Airport announcing 3 out of every 4 flights are canceled and conditions may not improve until tomorrow. But tonight, Lester, the warning from officials all across North Texas, roadways that have thawed during the day will likely refreeze again tonight, meaning treacherous travel still very much here. Lester?
Looks tough out there. All right, thank you, Morgan.
When their babies are born, pray to God. When they hold that child, that body and that life will be safe for the rest of his life. Yet we have a mother and a father who mourn the life of a young man who should be here today.
Powerful words from Vice President Kamala Harris as she, family, friends, and the city of Memphis celebrated Tyree Nichols' life this afternoon.
It's about moving forward and how we move through on a debt ceiling and how we get an agreement. I believe if we're able to get to an agreement, we could have a funding agreement for the next 2 years. You won't see omnibuses anymore. You'll see the Senate and the House actually do the job the American public has elected them to do, to walk through the appropriation process, which is the manner in which to do it, where the American public can see where we're spending our money. And I think there's a lot of savings we can find for the American taxpayer.
The original work was 79 pages. Now, the contents in the revised version is more than 200 pages. I went over it with a diversity training expert, and while some contents were added, others were left out. Early January, the Florida Department of Education denied the AP African American Studies course. The Office of Articulation told the College Board the contents of the course didn't follow Florida law and, quote, significantly lacks educational value.
We want to do history. That's what our standards for black history are. It's just cut and dried history.
The FDOE had a problem with these 6 topics: intersectionality and activism, black feminist literary thought, and movements for black lives. They say one of the topics featured critical race theory and a self-avowed Marxist writer. Now, in the revised curriculum, those topics were left out.
FBI agents today spending nearly 4 hours combing through President Biden's Delaware beach home, their latest search for mishandled classified documents. The president's lawyer later saying no documents with classified markings were found, that the search was done with the president's full support and cooperation, and that the agents took some materials and handwritten notes for review. It comes after the revelation the FBI searched Mr. Biden's former private office back in November, 2 senior law enforcement sources tell NBC News.
Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast.
This is what the roads look like all over the south central U.S. this morning. And you might be thinking, Ryan, why are you telling me? That's a normal road. It's just wet. Well, that's what this guy thought too. But watch him. He's sliding. And now he's into the side of the bridge. He's okay. Don't worry about him. But don't let this be you, okay? This is an ice storm. All right, this was in Dallas the other day. 1/100 of an inch of ice can cause stuff like this. Now, if you ever find yourself in a predicament like this, you are going to slide on the ice. I don't care if you got a big truck. I don't care if you got four-wheel drive. The ice is not snow. You're not going to be able to do anything about it, no matter how big and jacked up your truck is. But this guy in the red truck handles it okay. He hits the ice, he starts spinning, but he doesn't overcorrect. He doesn't turn the steering wheel all crazily. He kind of just lets the car glide across the bridge, and when he gets to the other side, then he takes control of the vehicle. A lot of these people who are really messing up, watch, they're trying to steer, and that just increases the friction, and it's like a hockey puck on ice. You're not going to be able to change what's happening there. The momentum of your vehicle is just going to slide you until you're off the ice. And even if you are aware of the ice, if you can stay off the roads today, do that, because this right here could happen, all right? You're in a little bit of a traffic jam. People start sliding around. Nothing you can do about this big blue truck right here, okay? You can't get out of his way because you're going to start sliding. He can't do nothing. Literally a 1/100 of an inch of ice. There are some places out there today that are going to see much more than this. And the
opioid crisis became worse during the pandemic because of a toxic street supply and more people seeking an escape from isolation. Today, the U.S. president said on May 11th, he is ending the COVID-19 national and public health emergency declarations 3 years after they were first issued. But as CTV's Kristen Adjkate reports, the World Health Organization insists the threat isn't over.
Thanks to a higher level of immunity through vaccination and infection, the world is in a better place than it was a year ago. But today, the World Health Organization announced its global public health emergency will remain in place.
Good evening, I'm Guy Jackson.
And I'm Mary Bubala. Crime and violence has a tight grip on Baltimore, and tonight residents say they need change now.
What we're going through in Baltimore right now is torture.
You can't even leave out your door in the morning time and guarantee that you're going to make it back home to your family.
Our children is dying.
Sir, what you doing about it? What you doing about it?
I'm leaving. I'm not willing to sacrifice the life of one of my children from Baltimore City.
For 8 straight years, more than 300 people have been murdered in Baltimore, and 5 days into the new year, 14 people have already been shot and touched by gun violence. 11 of them have survived, but 3, all young people, have been killed.
Allah is trying to tell the black man something. All this stuff is happening, and most of it is centered around the black man. And this guy right here, Tahaka Bay, is focused on getting your money like the rest of them, man. In his city, he can't control it. He's supposed to be a Moor. Supposed to be tightening up his community. The same with the FOI, the same with the Hebrew Israelites, the same with the Christians. All of them is up under the spell of the devil. All of them been bit. And they're using religion and political stances to get your money. While the Caucasian is letting homosexuals engage in marriage. We're going to talk about this on the next one. I'm Black Light in the night.